Welcome back to Awesome People Talking. I'm your host, Braden Carlisle, and today we have a very special guest. We have Shin Lim joining us. Shin Lim is the reigning world FISM champion for close-up magic and is on top of the magic game. He's killing it. He's a self-proclaimed sleight of hand artist, and now he uses YouTube as a platform to showcase his performances to the world. With speed, finesse, and how'd he do that mystery, Shin Lim's tricks enchant not only the physical audiences, but the digital audience as well. Please welcome Shin Lim. So thank you so much, Shin, for donating your time and coming on the podcast. I'd like to ask you the question every magician gets asked 1,000 times in their life. How'd you actually get started in magic?
My older brother showed me the slip force. And,
oh, cool.
Yeah, when I was 16. And he was like, yeah, this is how you do it. He taught it to me, and I was like, holy crap. Can I swear in this thing or not?
It's fine, yeah.
Okay, I was like, holy crap. I said, holy crap. Amazing. I can totally do like miracles, because I never thought magic was possible at the time. Mm-hmm. When I saw a magician, I thought you had to have like either supernatural powers or like be some sort part of some cult in order to do it. And then he showed me how to do the slip force, and I was like, oh my gosh, like anybody can do this. And he's like, yeah, you can learn the rest on YouTube. That's where he learned it from. This was during the time where there was a lot of bad tutorials on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But there were tutorials regardless. So I went on there, and that's kind of how I got started. I guess you could say with my brother, a little bit of YouTube, and just me being extremely bored when I was 16.
That's cool. So you don't have the typical magic story of I started when I was 2 years old and I saw a magic kid, penny tellers,
I guess
all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess you could say I started a little bit later than usual.
Yeah, but now you're insane. I mean, the Dream Act is crazy.
Yeah, it has gone kind of way more crazy than I expected.
Yeah, so I'd like to ask you, like, just how do you come up with some of the stuff you do? Like, what's your creative process like when you're...
It's always different. I mean, sometimes it kind of happens immediately. Sometimes it's a variation of a routine that I saw someone else perform. So the Dream Act was a variation of an old act of mine, and also a combination of that and me seeing another act that was similar to Dream Act, actually. It was in one of the IBM competitions. Actually, no one knows about this. This is the first time I'm telling it. It's an IBM competition. I got second place, and a friend of mine, he got first place. I won't really say his name. I don't think he wants to be known. But so his act had 4 spectators. And so what happened was he had 4 cards selected, and they would appear and reappear in different parts of his pocket, in the phone, in the clock. Unbelievable act, and it really fooled me a lot, and fooled the judges, obviously, because he got first. My act at the time involved 2 spectators as well, kind of the Dream Act, and but it had different elements in it. I was doing a coin routine within it. What happened was one person would select a card, the other person would select a coin, and then they would kind of switch places, kind of like the Dream Act, but in Dream Act, it's the card switching places. So after seeing the guy who got first place, though, it kind of inspired me to change my current act and just make it more possible, I guess. And then just having just cards, I think, simplified it a lot more, and kept things neater, I guess. Because I had a lot of props when I first did the act. I produced a bottle, produced coins, I had flash paper, I had a lighter, all that stuff. But I think kind of simplifying it really helped make the act what it is now. And then when it comes to the music aspect of it, I always had music in my acts. But what made me change completely to silent, because I used to have a patter, I used to have a story to the Dream Act.
Right.
But then on one of my tours, it was in China, my very first tour, I tried to learn Chinese to talk during the act.
Right.
While I was performing in Chinese, nobody understood what I was saying in the theater. They're like, I don't understand what this kid's talking about, because I had an American accent. And I guess I didn't really know how to speak Chinese. I still don't know how to speak Chinese. I wish I did. But that's me being troublesome young teen. So I decided, you know what, let me just not speak. And all of a sudden, it changed everything. All of a sudden, I was so nervous that people wouldn't appreciate it, people wouldn't like it and understand the act. But believe it or not, it got a better response when I just shut up and just performed silently.
That's cool. And did the music come after that, or were you already
I
doing it
was
to
already
music?
using music. So I was already doing
Okay.
music, and then the music would be quiet, and I would be speaking.
Hmm. Right.
So pretty much I decided to bump the music all the way up.
Yep.
And I also added some more elements of like crescendos and beats and stuff so that I could
Hmm.
synchronize everything at that time. Because before it
Right.
wasn't really synchronized. It was kind of background music, but it was synchronized in a way because I always had a thing for synchronization for music. I always have a pet peeve that it has to be synchronized. I don't know. It's like an OCD thing for me. So
Right.
if it doesn't hit the beat, then I'm just like, I go crazy. So that's how it kind of developed. And that is my creative process. It's a gradual thing. I wouldn't say it happens like this. I think the only thing that wasn't gradual was 52 Shades. That was an act that was created overnight.
Oh, really? How'd that happen?
I needed 10 minutes extra in my tour.
Oh, okay.
And the guy, I didn't know it until a day before the tour started. He's like, hey, so you have 20 minutes, right? And I was, at the time, I only had Dream Act. And I was like, I
Hmm.
really wanted to go on the tour. So I was like, yes, I do. And so
Nice.
I sat down in the living room and I was like, all right, so what do I have here? I watched David Copperfield's Grandpa's Aces, and from
Hmm.
that, it inspired me to just make an entire act. Well, which Grandpa's Aces was a small segment of 52 Shades, so it kind of just inspired me to
Right.
yeah.
That's really cool. I would have never guessed that was like an overnight creation. Did it evolve, or was it just
I mean,
it
it's
was
evolved
done?
since then, but I have a performance video. It's really bad, but it's 52 Shades live in China. I think it's
Okay.
52.
Hmm.
And so that is actually the act that I created when I first came up with it.
Okay, that's cool.
No changes at all. Yeah.
Hmm.
But then, of course, it's changed vastly, and now it's way different. When I perform it now, it's completely different, from what it
Hmm.
is. And I think I have a version that no one's seen yet. So even different from my second appearance on Penn and Teller.
Right. Okay, so that no one's seen. That's cool.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Hmm. And so those are your routines. Are you just like playing with cards, like with shin splits and stuff, like with your smaller just visual stuff?
Um,
How did those come about?
Shin Splint was way before I was doing routines. So
Hmm.
I've actually kind of stopped the whole Move Monkey thing.
Right.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of Move Monkey before I started creating routines. So like shenanigans, all those stuff was
Hmm.
my Move Monkey days when I was obsessed with Dan and Dave and stuff.
Hmm. What
Uh,
about Instagram though? Is that kind of move monkey, or is that like you're doing things for routines and then stuff just kind of works out?
sorry, say that again. Sorry.
Like with your Instagram, do you go out to make something for Instagram, or do you see something online and it kind of inspires you, or what are those videos?
Yeah, some actually. There's one thing that I've been doing on my Instagram a lot, and that's going to be in a new act. So
Hmm.
can't say much about it, but maybe you guys can probably guess. I've been using that technique a lot, and so it's going to
Hmm.
be in a routine.
Cool.
But I think most of my Instagram stuff is just ideas I've come up with within the day, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do.
Hmm.
I think it'd be cool
That's cool.
if I'm in my house bored or whatever, or if I have time.
Yeah.
But usually I'm actually just working on acts. Most of my days is creating new routines and acts.
Mhm.
About 90% of them are scrapped because I don't like them. So
Gotcha. And so I've got to ask, Reddit wants me to ask, can you just talk about your Penn and Teller? Like, my favorite question here is just, how did you vanish that marker?
well, it's a weird way of coming. I came up with that. I hated using sleeves,
Right.
and I was never good at it. Maybe that's why I hated using sleeves because I could just never get the pen to go to vanish using sleeves, and so.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, how am I going to vanish this pen without using sleeves? And that's pretty much how I came up with it.
Yeah.
That's literally how I
Nice.
came up with it. I was like, all right, what's another way to not vanish it using a sleeve?
Hmm. And so you fooled them, so you got to open for them. But from what I understand, you don't actually open for Penn and Teller. You close for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that experience? Was
That
that?
was awesome. That was
Yeah.
so cool to perform in Vegas, in front of Vegas.
Hmm.
And they loved it, and my parents were there to watch it. And yeah, it was such a good experience. And I got to hang out with them backstage too, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. Because with Fool Us, you don't really get to talk to them, do you?
You actually do.
You do.
But I got to talk to them more during my performance in reading.
Hmm. Yeah, and I suspect the people they like get to talk to them more than the people they don't like.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I don't know if they didn't like me or not. I don't know.
yeah, well you've been back on, so I'd say they like you.
My second time was great too. It was good.
Yeah. Any chance for a third?
Probably not. Yeah,
Mhm.
probably not. I'm now focusing more on America's Got Talent. So
Oh right, yeah, you're doing that this season. How's that? Has that started yet, or I don't really keep
I
up with
can't say
that?
much about it, but my
Hmm.
episode will air in May 30th ish, or the episodes start airing around then. So depending on
Yeah.
whether I'm episode 1 or 2 or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
look at I'm doing a brand new act. So
a brand new act,
I
cool.
know
Even for episode one.
oh yeah,
Oh, nice.
I wanted to start out with something. I don't want to do my best. I don't do dream act first. So,
Right.
yeah, I think kind of a lot of magicians kind of fall into the trap. Not even magicians. I think performers fall into the trap of performing their best material first, and then it kind of just all of a sudden their second act. It's like what?
Right. Yeah, I guess if you're gonna go on the show, you got to do your best material, maybe, so you get seen. But then it's like if you go on, you kind of
Right.
just fall.
You don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
Yeah, I mean,
fight of
no,
getting seen versus.
I don't know the strategy, but I think
Right.
that's the best way to do it.
Right. And I mean, America's Got Talent has been loving magicians the past couple
Oh,
years, so
yeah, they have. They really have.
yeah. Hmm. So the next question from Reddit is, we just saw a video from you about the top change. What do you think about the bottom deal?
I'm terrible at the bottom, so I'm never gonna teach the bottom team.
Never.
Yeah. I think in my second deal tutorial, I talk about how I'm terrible at the bottom deal. That's why I can't do a tutorial on it. I just have
Gotcha.
never been able to get the right grip. I don't know, maybe it's my of brain. I don't know. I just can't seem to wrap my head around it for some reason. Yeah.
Mhm. But do you recommend learning it if you can?
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, 100%. It's way better than
Mhm.
the second deal, in my opinion.
Yep. Just don't learn it from you.
No, no, definitely don't learn it from me.
Yeah.
I would never
Cool.
make a tutorial on it. Yeah.
Nice. So what going back to Fool Us, I should have organized these questions better, but I didn't. That's how I'm not a true professional. Going back to Fool Us though, what's it like? Do you have any claim to fame and just like with the other Fool Us people, you're like, I'm the most watched Fool Us clip of all time.
I guess so. Like mathematically, I am, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I think you're like tens of thousands of views above everybody else.
It was kind
I
of
don't know.
crazy. I just didn't expect it to just jump that high. It's funny because when it first came out, actually, I was kind of sad because it was only at 500 views for the first two.
Right.
It just didn't go up because
Mhm.
so I was like, oh, well, I guess people don't really like it. But what happened was, I guess YouTube just had trouble like trying to like keep up with the numbers because then on the
Mhm.
second day, all of a sudden it was at 5 million views, and I was like, holy crap!
Wow. Yeah.
It was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I just never expected it to go that high up. I just didn't think people would like it that much.
Mhm.
You know, because it's different. It's not like a normal close up act. There's really no communication or anything. And it's just
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen Penn and Teller live, and one of my favorite pieces is when Teller comes on stage just with the ball and the string.
Mm,
Like, just the
yeah.
silent magic can be very powerful and connecting.
Yeah. No, that's correct. When done properly, but yeah,
Right, right. It can be. It can also not be.
it's really awkward too.
Yeah, yeah. It can crash and burn. I did a silent piece with a friend of mine, and we thought we were being very innovative, and it was a two-person act, and like I would freeze while he did something, and he would freeze while I did something, and we kind of did an ambitious card, but the card ended up in each other's pockets. It was weird. The trick worked, the act didn't work.
Yeah. No. It takes sometimes it just takes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was fun, but probably wouldn't do it again. So, and I've got to ask, do you think the Fool Us, like, do you think that was a huge, like, step in the Shin Lim magic career, or just...
Of course, that was the biggest step. You know.
Right.
It really like put my focus into more routining
Mm-hmm.
rather than individual move monkey stuff.
Right.
Yeah, because for me, I was always working on like different moves and card moves and stuff like that. But now I'm really strictly just 7-minute X, 5-minute X kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you said you started out at 16 when your brother showed you a force. How did you go from just like, I want to learn a thing, to I want to perform for people, to I am performing for people?
So I started out. It was always a hobby, even through to university.
Mm-hmm.
I would do some gigs here and there, like birthday parties and stuff like that.
Right.
It was I was never. That was never my like goal, was to be a musician. I was always going to be a pianist. I started piano when I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I was like, I'm going to be a concert pianist. You know, my teacher said I was great. My mom said I was great. So I was like, oh.
Yeah. I'm the best.
I got a full ride in university to do piano.
Oh, that's cool.
Scholarship. And so, but then when I got carpal tunnel, that was when everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make a decision. I was like, all right, well, should I just withdraw from piano for a bit and just see what I want to do with my life? Because I needed to rest my wrist. My wrist was pretty much, that's what carpal tunnel is. It affects your wrist, and you just can't feel anything. Your hands are numb. It's terrible. You can't even pick up your phone. Like, that's how bad it is.
Wow. That sucks.
And a lot of pain, too. A lot of pain in your wrist. And so I had to withdraw. There was no choice. I couldn't play the piano for a bit. And so I was in my parents' basement. I was like, I didn't know what to do with my life at the time. It was pretty tough. But I guess magic kind of like came through for me in a way, because I started getting gigs here and there while I was taking my little sabbatical from university.
Right.
And at the same time, I decided to join FISM. Not FISM in 2015, FISM in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I started kind of switching gear like naturally. It wasn't really like it was a conscious decision to continue magic. And I did tell my parents I want to do magic.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had piano in the background, you know.
Right.
I still do. I can always.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you still practice and play?
Every now and then, but I try to be careful, because if I do too much, it comes back. I can feel it starting to come back.
Right. Instruments can be tricky that way. I've played drums for 14 years, and I've started to develop arthritis in my wrists and fingers, so instruments, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty cool story, though. I mean, and then, so carpal tunnel, and then you hurt your thumb recently. What was that? What was that recovery like?
Always damaged.
I know you've got a bad luck with your hands.
Yeah, I hope no more. I hope that's it. Yeah, right over here, you can still see the scar. I don't know. You're probably not recording this, but you can still see the S. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
S for shit.
I can confirm there is a scar.
Yeah. Totally sucks, man. I was rehearsing an illusion, and then I actually cut my hand while I was trying to fix the illusion.
Oh man, that really does suck.
Yeah, I was using a knife blade, very sharp blade, and was trying to fix a crossbow. It was a crossbow illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Aaron Crow. Have you ever seen Aaron Crow's material?
I have not.
Longbow. Okay.
Maybe someone
maybe
listening has.
But yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, just search it.
Was
Search it
kind
up.
of like that, a little bit more dangerous, and then I don't think I'm doing that illusion anymore. I'm not gonna.
Right.
I'm not gonna do it anymore. It's too dangerous.
So, was it dangerous to do or just dangerous to fix?
Both.
Both?
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. But you didn't injure yourself doing the illusion, just fixing it.
Fixing it, not doing it. No.
Gotcha.
I could injure myself doing it as well.
Right.
Luckily, I didn't. I think if I injured myself doing the illusion, I wouldn't be alive right now. So.
Oh wow. So probably a good decision to drop that then.
Well, I did perform. I performed it on a cruise ship.
Oh wow.
About 3 months. So it did come into use, sort of. Was it worth cutting my thumb? Probably not.
Who knows? Can't really say. All right, so the last question I have for you from Reddit is this guy, Liamar, it looks like his name is, he wants to know your opinions on black and white art and where you think the future in that is.
White art is kind of a joke, though.
yeah, I know that part, but black art, though.
Who knows? I mean, maybe it could be done, but black art, that one's a little bit easier to do live in a practical situation,
right?
I think black art for close up is definitely getting way more popular, and especially now with the camera and everything, it's so much easier
Definitely.
to hide it. I mean, Omar Pasha, when he did it live for on stage, it was incredible. Yes,
Hmm.
but you kind of, I guess the whole stage is kind of black, and so you're just kind
Hmm.
of like, whoa, whoa. I mean, I guess you could vanish into blackness somehow. But whereas for close up, it's different because it's just your mat, so you can always walk towards
Right.
your mat or walk towards maybe your shirt. This part of your shirt is black or something like that,
Hmm.
and so the whole image doesn't have to be necessarily black, just a certain portion. I think that's kind of cool, and I think it has a lot of potential. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And so many magicians have done it recently, and explored
Hmm.
parts of black art. I think also it's just you have to know how to use it. Sometimes,
Right. You can't use it for everything.
yeah, and that's the problem. That's a problem that even I did when I first started on black art. I just relied on it, and that was a mistake. You got to use it as kind of not like a backup plan, but you got to use it as just something to improve, and all
Hmm.
like a car banish, for example. It's something to like hide just in case you flash, kind of a thing. It's
Right.
kind of hard to explain without showing, but a lot of stage manipulators use it to like, let's say, look, okay, so for example, they're doing a back palm, right?
Hmm.
And so they would black art the card so that the back palm would look better than, let's say,
Oh, gotcha.
you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
in case they kind of accidentally put kind of extended their fingers too much,
Right.
black art would help completely conceal it. And so
Hmm.
along those lines, like I think black art is best used when it's like that.
Right. Just like minimal, but still
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Rather than like, have you ever seen Omar Pasha?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
I don't know any
Yeah.
other example, but rather,
Yeah.
something like rather than
Hmm.
vanishing completely and then that's it. Those,
Right. Yeah, I can imagine what that would look like though from your description.
I don't want to say too much without giving it away. But yeah.
Right. Okay.
But
And
Pasha is amazing, by the way. I'm not trying to
mhm,
say, yeah, he's a great magician, and what he does with black arts is incredible. But
right. Yeah, but for Shin Lim, the black art use is
well, for close up,
minimal but
yeah,
apparent.
close up,
Right.
you don't want it to be too obvious. You want it
Hmm.
to have some sort of something else added, not just black art, pretty much.
Right.
Has to
Not
be,
just
right.
it's gone into the void.
Yeah, maybe use confetti to cover it up or something like that. Yeah.
Hmm. All right. And this is a question we ask everybody, and I love this question because it gets just different opinions on things. And if you don't have an answer, that's fine. It's kind of on the spot. Is there something in magic that you think, or is there something that you think about magic that you think other magicians might disagree with?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, yeah, I have this opinion that a lot of magicians disagree with, and it's about practice, and it's about giving up on something. And
Hmm.
a lot of people have this saying, you keep going until you do it, or keep practicing until you do it and get it right. I'm probably the laziest magician there is, and it's true. You ask Casey, my fiance. I don't practice at all.
Hmm.
I just kind of do things that come naturally. I think
Hmm.
that is what you need to focus on. That's my opinion. So let's say, like, there's so many card moves, like even the bottom deal, for example. There's a reason
Right.
why I don't do it. Is because it just never came naturally to me.
Hmm.
I tend to practice a move for about an hour ish. If I can't get the move done in an hour or 2 hours, I don't do it.
Right.
I know that seems really like extreme, but even when it comes to a routine, like let's say I'm working on a whole routine for 2 days,
Hmm.
and just isn't coming right. It just doesn't feel right. I completely throw it away. I don't even look back on it. Um, and it might seem a little bit weird or whatever, but like I think it works in the sense that whatever does come naturally to you, you end up doing better at it. You can put more
Hmm.
time in stuff that comes naturally to you. Like for me, the clip shift was really easy, or
Right.
doing. I'm trying to think of a move that Mercury card flow came easily to me.
Hmm.
So I practiced those things instead. you know, and I believe I am pretty good at the Mercury card. Some people say I'm one of the best. I don't know. This is not my words. It's someone. It's kind of, I'm trying to use it as to show a point, like, because when you work on something that does come naturally to you, you end up becoming really good at it.
Right.
And
then you don't want to work on something
right
and then not be good.
Working on something that didn't come naturally to you, and you become just average at it.
And then even during a show, you might have to think about it, and you don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it comes to performance, you're just so much natural at it, you know? For me, the Dream Act is literally the easiest thing for me to perform. This is, seriously, it's the easiest act, way easier than 52 Shades. It's, and it is one of my best acts. But yet it's so easy for me, because it comes naturally to me. Everything is natural. Right. The hardest move in it is the Mercury card. But it's also extremely easy for me. I can do that.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that is kind of my point, is to don't get discouraged on a move that, you know, you can't do. Just don't do it, and then just move on to something else. Because you will find something that you're good at. You will find something that comes naturally to you, and then you'll become the best at that one thing. You know, you'd rather be a big fish in a small pond, I think, than a small fish in a big pond. So.
Right. You just want to be the best at a couple
just
things.
Just one thing, yeah. Don't be average at everything. Then you become, you know, average, and that's not what you want. You want to be special and unique. Yeah.
What's the phrase? Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one. But I'm definitely not a jack of all trades. I'll tell you that right now.
But a master of some, though.
I don't do pendulum or coin tricks. I can only do a few coin routines, and even card stuff. I can only do a few card stuff. I don't even, like, I can't even do, you know, a proper double lift sometimes. You know, that's the honest truth. Like, I can't even do a proper pass, but I don't use either of those moves at all in any of my reps.
Right. So it's like, why spend time working on something you could be average at eventually? Yeah. Right.
But then again, a lot of magicians disagree with me.
Yeah, well,
I mean, lectures and like these old are like, you're wrong, Shin. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I was like, sorry, guys.
Yeah, I like this podcast because it constantly changes my views. Like, whenever I'm talking with somebody, like, you say, do that. I'm like, oh, good idea. And then I talk to somebody else who's like, practice everything. I'm like, great idea.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, practice.
Yeah.
Is of course you should. You know, I'm not saying don't practice. I'm just saying make sure you don't practice the wrong thing.
Yeah. My favorite piece of advice though was from Piff the Magic Dragon. I asked him for advice, and he said, "Don't do it. Get out of magic unless you love it." And I mean, it's true though. Unless you love doing magic, it's not gonna be great. A great experience.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, you can do it as a hobby, you know.
Well, yeah, but for somebody trying to go professional, I meant.
Oh yeah, no, you can only do it if you love it.
It's a labor of love for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I think that applies with everything, doesn't it? If you want to do something in your career, do something that you love, because don't do a 9 to 5 unless you love it, you know.
Right.
Imagine.
And then, I don't know if you can hear that. Sorry about the noise.
I'm sorry about my truck. You can probably hear my truck too.
Oh, I can't hear anything. Okay, if you're good then.
I was so worried about my truck. My truck kept making noises all the time.
Yeah, no, there's like a lawn service that was supposed to come at like 4, but they're here early, so yeah. All right, but enough with the background noise. I've got one more question, and thank you so much again for donating your time. But the last question I want to ask is just, if you had to give advice to some young magician that might be listening to this podcast, what would you say to them? They want to make it professionally. They're trying. They might be in middle school, might be in high school, might be in college. Who knows? Just someone who's trying to do magic.
Well, first of all, you have to love it, as we were talking. You have to love magic if you want to do this professionally. And secondly, this also probably very controversial, but if you want to do magic specifically, this is just magic, and I'm not talking about anything else. Don't go to college. Don't go to university. If you want to strictly do magic, you know, as a career, there are no colleges for magic.
Right.
There really isn't. There's no. I mean, well, there is one, but in my opinion, I think college for art art stuff is pointless because there's no such thing as right or wrong, right? I mean, of course, there's a school for math because there is right or wrong, and you're studying those books, and they're teaching you what's right, what's wrong. For art or anything like that that has to do with opinions or whatever, you can't learn that from a teacher. I think the number one reason why I somehow became unique or whatever, I don't know, a magician, is just simply because I learned from nobody. I just have resources everywhere, just like so many young talented magicians. You notice, you always ask them, and they have no mentors. They just study by themselves. And it's simply because of this that you form your own style, you form your own opinion, you form your own atmosphere, character, whatever. You form this all by yourself usually when you're self-taught. When you have a mentor, the mistake is you end up becoming like them because you learn from just them, or college or whatever. It's same. And so my best opinion, I think, is to strictly focus on just try to be a magician, do whatever it takes to play parties, learn your skill, and then market yourself. Don't go market yourself first and then try to learn a skill set. I see so many magicians focus on marketing without being actually good. So make sure you're good first. I know you might be starving because I sure was. But just keep going, keep learning, and keep make sure you're the best at what you want to be at. And then you can start marketing yourself, blah, 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 do all that stuff. But again, yeah, I mean, school, I see so many of my friends, they go to college for performance art, whatever, and they're wasting 4 years because everyone who didn't go to university is starting marketing, starting all that stuff 4 years before, and so they kind of have a head start. But yeah, I mean, it's probably controversial, but that is my true opinion. So.
Yep, that's your opinion, and that's your advice. Well, thank you so much for donating your time. Is there anything you want to say, like shinlim.com or anything?
Yeah. I mean, you can go to shinlim.com, shinlimmagic.com.
Shinlimmagic.com.
Shinlimmagic.com. I have my website. I'm selling my latest products and stuff like that. And check out at Shin Lim Magic for my Instagram. I post daily videos-ish. Just kidding. I don't post videos. I've been so lazy. Not lazy. I just haven't had time. But I'm trying to now. And also you can go to my YouTube at Shin Lim Magic. So I post videos every now and then on just random stuff, some tutorials and stuff like that. So yeah, hope you guys like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.